Let us now look into the key features that can be achieved through PBCS. The first one is multidimensionality. So usually in Excel we have rows and columns which shows the two-dimensional. But in real time there will be multidimensional data like account, time, scenario, etc. So we would be having multiple accounts like sales, revenue, expenses, and we would be having multiple time periods as well, like different months and different years, and entities like the countries. We would be having multiple countries, organizations in multiple countries, so USA, UK, Australia, and the scenarios like plan, forecast, budget, etc. So we would be having multiple dimensions and the data would be stored in that particular combination. So we need a multi-dimensional cube here, and PBCS supports it. So such multi-dimensional intersection data can be stored and reported using PBCS. The next feature would be bottom-up and target planning. So in business, there are two case scenarios. One, the top management prepares the total financial budget and allocates them to the bottom level departments. This can be termed as target or top-down planning. So from top it is going down, so it is called top-down or target. So the budget is being given from the top management to individual departments in a business. And the second case is the revenues and expenses incurred at the bottom level or individual departments is being consolidated and rolled up to the top level for final reporting. So budget will be coming up to the bottom, but actuals from individual departments will be going up. So it's from bottom, it's going up. So that's called bottom-up planning. So both this bottom-up and target planning can be achieved in PBCS. The next one is web-based entry. In PBCS, we have artifacts like web forms where we can enter data through them from web itself, and the data is stored in PBCS Cloud. So this kind of web-based entry capability is possible through PBCS. The next one is process management. Process management is the workflow process to cater to the approvals, like a planner submits data at a lower level and it goes to the approval to the next level manager, and only if he approves it, the data is finalized. So such kind of approval process capability is possible through PBCS. The next is planning cycles. So as already discussed, in a business or organization, we have budget and forecast cycles. In PBCS, the budget and forecast cycles, basically planning cycles, can be designed to start at a specific start period and end at a specific end period to plan the finances. So in the previous slides examples we have seen, budget was recorded for 2020. So the budget start period would be Jan 2020 and the end period would be December 2020 if the budget is given for 1 year. It can be for multiple years as well. And for forecast, the actuals are till May. So forecast start period would be June 2019, and the end period would be December 2019. So that way we can modify the specific start periods and end periods and continue with the planning cycles in PBCS. Next is complex allocations and business rules. In a business, there are such requirements where allocations have to be done from top level to lower level members, and also a few complex calculations happening among the members. So such complex calculations can be handled through a concept called business rules or calculation scripts in PBCS. The next one is data and metadata transfers among PBCS and other projects. So as already mentioned, we have a tool called data management inbuilt in PBCS, where connections can be established with other external tools and data and metadata transfers can be done. So that capability is possible through PBCS. And the next one is currency conversions. Many of the projects or many of the organizations are global and multiple currencies are involved in it. So they may have their branches at UK, USA, Australia, India, China, everywhere. So there will be different currencies like GBP, USD, AUD, INR, etc. So there may be finances occurring in multiple currencies, multiple individual currencies, but reporting may be done in only single currency. For example, the headquarters is in UK. The final reporting currency would be GBP. So the currency conversion from these currencies to GBP is required. So this currency conversion has to be done, and PBCS has this functionality to do currency conversion. So once we input exchange rates into PBCS, currency conversion can be done, and the reporting can be done in the reporting currency PBCS. So these are the features of PBCS. Coming to the PBCS architecture, so these are the following components included in PBCS. Financial reporting for final reporting of data through user-friendly reports. FDME, as already mentioned, it's called data management to establish connections with external sources for data and metadata. Next is Hyperion planning to perform planning processes, which includes artifacts like web forms and dashboards. SBase, this is the backend database to store the entire planning data. And single sign-on. So a single sign-on environment to log into the application for users. So there will be many users across the globe, and there should be a single platform to log into that. So single sign-on does its job. And the next one is lifecycle management. So lifecycle management is nothing but migration. So we have an application, PBCS of the entire application or the individual artifacts in the application among different environments or different applications. So this migration capability is present in PBCS. And the next one is calculation manager to perform complex calculations, as already mentioned, business rules, which cater to the planning needs. And the next one is Oracle database. So a cloud database is provided by Oracle to store the entire PBCS application. So this covers the PBCS architecture.
When you say this data management, external sources, what are these external sources? It's like we can flow the data from PBCS to Fusion and from Fusion to back.
So there are few dedicated few environments which can be connected to PBCS, like you said, Fusion and Oracle HCM, and maybe through flat file also. So there are some external sources which can be connected to PBCS, and data can be flown back to Fusion as well, as you said. Okay, moving on. So here are some more additional architectural considerations. So it's cost effective, as there are no hardware costs and no backend maintenance costs, as everything is being handled by Oracle. So basically, in Hyperion planning, what happened is we used to purchase the entire hardware, and there should be people also to maintain that hardware, the backend hardware. So now, as everything is handled by Oracle, these costs can be eliminated, and it is subscription based, so it's very cost effective compared to the on-prem version. And it has greater usability, as it has predefined and pre-configured dashboards, and it's on cloud, and hence there is no VPN also required to connect, and it can be opened on mobile as well, and hence it's mobile friendly. The next one is daily maintenance. So Oracle has this functionality. So basically what happens is maybe any user can enter some data or corrupt the database by performing any action. So it's always ready to have this DR activity ready, like disaster recovery. So Oracle, we can take the daily backups, we can take our manual backups anytime during the day, any times in a day, but Oracle also maintains this daily maintenance program. So daily at a particular point, we can fix that time. So at that point, Oracle takes the backup and keeps in the Oracle end. So that particular day's backup can be accessed by us only in the environment, but if you want like 2 days or 3 days ago backups, we can contact Oracle, we can take the request, and they will provide the backup for us. Okay, the next one is the patch updates. So if any improvements are to be done in any of the modules or parts of the application, Oracle releases monthly patches to the application for performance improvements. So there may be, like, the world is growing and there may be new requirements new creations being done, and Oracle also introducing some new features day by day, and these Oracle will be releasing on a monthly basis. So every month it releases some patches, and those are during some weekend they will take an outage and they will implement all these in the PBCS or the PBCS. Yes, I'm coming to that for ASO cubes. Okay, so the next one is we have two environments. So basically, when an application is purchased, we will get one pod. We will get one PBCS, and we have two environments in it, or two pods. So one, usually we say one for production and one for test environment. So when we purchase one PBCS, we usually get two environments. We can develop two applications over there, one for test and one for production. And the next one is in each environment, we have the flexibility to create 3 BSO and 4 ASO cubes. So that is a limit given by PBCS. So more than this, we can't create in PBCS or EPBCS. So EPBCS have some few additional databases that can be created, but in PBCS, this is the limit we have. Only 3 BSO and 4 ASO cubes can be created.
So what is this BSO and ASO stands
for? The limit provided by PBCS. Yeah, that I will be covering in the next
later on. Okay, that's fine.
So basically, these are the databases. Yeah. So basically, these are the databases. BSO means the block storage option, and ASO means the aggregate storage option. Not exactly. So it will not create any cube. So it's a database. Cube is nothing but a database, and in a database we can create how many dimensions we want according to the business purpose, and we can load them as per the dimensions. We can map from the ledger to the target database, and we can load it in a single cube also. It's not only ASO, in a BSO also. No need to create all, for each ledger, no need to create a database. Maybe we can create a new version or a new scenario and we can load it there. It will be, there is a concept called dimensionality. I'll explain you in the coming slides what a dimension is. And in the different combinations, you can load all the 10 ledgers data.